and I say this all the time to new clients of mine. As a business owner, it is your responsibility. And today, we're going to talk about delegating things inside of your business. The last 3 episodes, we've talked about building your business, developing a strategy, the perils of deviating from that strategy, why it's important to stay focused. Today, we're going to talk about being in the trenches and how to actually get things done. And ultimately, the old cliche saying of being or working on your business instead of inside your business. As the other episodes, I'm here with my assistant, Aiden. He's going to ask me some questions, and we're going to teach you some things today based on my experience as a lifelong entrepreneur and 1099 employee, whatever the case may be. I've been in this business a while. And Aiden, what's up?
Hello, Dan.
Yo,
My first question, why does refusing to delegate out certain activities actually end up costing a business more than paying for delegation costs?
well, I'm going to be honest right off the rip. I'm going to speak about this today because I understand the importance of it, but I am one of the first who is very, very guilty of not doing. All right. I enjoy being a small lean operation. My personal goal is to not build an Amazon.com. That's not something I'm interested in. I like being small, but I also have to remind myself that in order to get to certain points that I need to delegate things, right? For example, the content creation that Eden is helping me with. That is me delegating something to him that takes it up. But the most important part about delegation, for example, I had a virtual assistant. I paid him $3 an hour. He's in the Philippines or something like that. Super good kid, super bright. But I wasn't able to leverage his expertise because I, the business owner, did not give him the proper standard operating procedure. I didn't give him the material to help him help me, right? He's not in my brain, but I wanted him to be, and I couldn't get mad at him for not being because he's not able to be. As a business owner, to systematize, document, and then hand that over to, right? I mean, it's one thing, for example, if you're a plumber, right? The standard operating procedure, go fix that pipe. Okay, but your particular brand with the way that you show up, how do you greet the customer? What are you wearing? What is the follow-up process like? Do you have paperwork? That these things all need to be put in order so that when you hire a new employee, he's going to show up and do it in a uniform way. Otherwise, you might do it a certain way. You can't just expect your employees to do that without actually informing them first. And if that's what you're trying to do is scale a business, that's the kind of the groove you have to get.
So it sounds like a business owner knows when it's time to delegate once they have a system in place that allows delegation.
Well, I mean,
once they have a standard operating procedure.
yeah, you can delegate on day one. This is not going to be delegated efficiently, right? Build the system yourself. Write down, document the whole strategy, and then take your system and hand it off to that person and say, this is how you do it. One of my first experiences with my dad and I own a bar in northern Wisconsin. It's a very small town bar. I talked about it in another episode, that small town I'm from. And they do what is known as a poker run, right? And it's a poker run is where you drive around on your ATVs from tavern to tavern, and you get a poker card at each one. And at the end, you have a big party, and everybody wins prizes, right? It's a whole thing to get people involved and moving around and things like that. It's really fun. As the owner of the bar, it was my job to organize this run, right? And there's all these different point A to point B, major step, minor steps that you have to do in order to lay it all out. But being a smart, savvy business owner myself, instead of just doing it myself over and over again, I took the process, I documented it, I wrote it down, and I put it on paper, and I handed it off to a manager and said, here, repeat this for the next one. Guess what? I just removed myself from that business, or that aspect of that business, and I delegated somebody else through a very specific, predetermined, laid out. All right? Doing that will help you delegate.
So with that being said, why do you think owners brag about wearing all the hats more than they brag about, oh, I started delegating this task and that task?
Well, I don't know. It's kind of a broad statement to say that owners brag about that, but I don't doubt that some do. but it feels good to do a little bit of it, right? But if somebody is bragging about that, I bet you if you dig a little bit deeper, they're pretty freaking stressed. They're probably cut to the wire and they don't even know which way's up anymore, right? A responsible business owner is going to be the first to admit that, yes, I need help delegating. Yes, I understand, but I don't know how, or I need assistance with the system, so on and so forth. If you're smart, most business owners, they tend to, like Aiden said, they tend to get caught up in their own ego. But once you're able to get past that and admit,
Do you think there's a certain point of an owner refusing to let go that a company dies? And if so, do you think you can quantify that?
yeah, I mean, the quantifying aspect of it is your business went up. I mean, that's pretty easy. Um, whether you want to quantifiably attribute it to you not letting go, right? That's a different story, but that could be assessed and dissected and analyzed. But altogether, just like what I said, if you don't admit to yourself, be real with yourself and understand what needs to be done to get to the next level. That's the old saying is if you keep doing the same things the same way you've always done them, you're going to keep getting the same things you've always got. It's that simple. So in order to change and see progress and see things shift, you have to be willing to do that yourself. And it's going to start with giving up a little, or don't, and stay in your ways, but realize you're probably going to stay in your ways financially too, and your business isn't going to grow if that is something you aspire to have happen. Like I said, me personally, I'm not trying to be Amazon, but I understand that I can make more money if I learn to delegate a lot of my processes to other people. And I say this all the time to new clients of mine. As a business owner, it is your responsibility to know a little bit about everything. As a business owner, you do not have to know everything about anything, right? You need to know a little bit about everything. What do I mean by that? For example, my financial advisor, Edward Jones, he's very, very well versed in money, right? Since he is so well versed in money, I don't have to be so well versed in money. That's his freaking job, right? I only need to know enough about money to sit down in a room with him and have an educated, intelligent conversation about what he knows everything about. Let me give you another example. Drywall. One of my least favorite activities to ever have to do. Hanging drywall, mudding drywall, sanding drywall, painting drywall. I hate it, everything about it. I will hire someone to do it 99 times out of 100. I will make sure somebody else does it. I've done enough drywall in my day to have an intelligent conversation with a drywall expert who does it for a living and know that I'm not getting ripped off. I know what's required of it. I know what's all included in it. I know how much materials cost because I've done a little bit of it. Am I the best at it? Hell no. They are. He knows everything about drywall. I don't. I'm going to give him money to do it. My job as a general contractor in this example is to know a little bit about drywall, know a little bit about framing, a little bit about electrician work, a little bit about plumbing. I don't need to know all of those things, just a little bit to have the conversations to make sure the job gets. Remember that. That might be the most important part of the whole freaking series. I love it. That's one of my favorite things. That said, everybody, I want to leave it on that point specifically about knowing a little bit about everything instead of everything about anything. That could possibly be the most important premise in this entire series. We're going to do one more video, most likely. I have a meeting coming up in about 20 minutes that I have to prepare for, a client meeting. So maybe I will do a 5th video, depending on when Aiden and I can meet again. But if it is a 4-part series, hopefully you enjoyed it. Like I said, it's free. We're just doing this because at the end of the day, I want to help motivate you. I've only got 30 or 40 subscribers on YouTube. It's about the quality of your message and not the amount of followers you have for my person. If you're trying to go Mr. Beast route, then yeah, you better get your subscriber count up. But I make these videos for the 39 or so people that are currently subscribed because they listen, they nod their head, and they think, and they believe, and they get behind what I have to say because I have a certain passion for my message about business because I've been through it, I've dealt with it, I've experienced it, and I want to help get past that without going through, trials and tribulations. So thanks so much for watching. We might have another part of this series. If not, just leave me a comment and let me know other content you'd like to hear in the future, and we'll go from there. See you later. Bye.